The session is now recorded. So for the delivery of the manuscript speeches this morning, we shall begin with Queenie. For a while, Queenie, I'll put you in spotlight. Okay, everything's ready. May I see the copy for a while, Queenie? Where's the copy? Okay, that's the copy. Please start.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Queen Anne Corrales, and this speech is by UN Women Goodwill Ambassador Emma Watson at the special event for the He for She campaign. I am reaching out to you because I need your help. We wanted to end gender inequality, and to do that, we need everyone to be involved. This is the first campaign of its kind at the UN. We want to try and galvanize as many men and boys as possible to be advocates for gender equality. And we do not want to talk about it, but to make sure it is tangible. I was appointed 6 months ago, and the more I have spoken about feminism, the more I have realized that fighting for women's rights has too often become synonymous with man hating. If there is one thing I know for certain, it is that has to stop. For the record, feminism, by definition, is a belief that men and women should have equal rights and opportunities. It is a theory of the political, economic, and social equality of sexes. I started questioning gender based assumptions when at 8 I was confused at being called bossy. Because I wanted to direct the plays we would put on for our parents, but the boys were not. When at 14, I started being sexualized by certain elements of the press. When at 15, my girlfriends started dropping out of their sport teams because they didn't want to appear muscly. When at 18, my male friends were unable to express their feelings. I decided I was a feminist, and this seems uncomplicated to me. But my recent research has shown me that feminism has become an unpopular word. Apparently, I am among the ranks of the women whose expressions are seen to be strong, too aggressive, isolating, anti-men, and unattractive. Why is the word such an uncomfortable word for so many women? Why is it so difficult for us to express ourselves? Why is it so difficult for us to express ourselves? Why is it hard to make decisions about my own body? I think it is right that women be involved on my behalf in the policies and decision making of my country. I think it is right that socially I am afforded the same respect as men. But sadly, I can say that there is no one country in the world where all women can expect to receive these rights. No country in the world can yet say they have achieved gender equality. These rights I consider to be human rights, but I am one of the lucky ones. My life is a sheer privilege because my parents did not love me less because I was born a daughter. My school did not limit me because I was a girl. My mentors didn't assume I would go less far because I might give birth to a child one day. These influencers were the gender equality ambassadors that made me who I am today. They may not know it, but they are the inadvertent feminists who are changing the world today. And we need more of those. And if you still hate the word, it is not the word that is important, but the idea and the ambition behind it. Because not all women have been afforded the same rights that I have. In fact, statistically, very few. In 1955, Hillary Clinton made a famous speech in Beijing about the women's rights.
Just go on, just go on, just go on. The dog probably wants to have its share of a manuscript speech. Just go on, Queenie, just go on, go on.
In 1955, Hillary Clinton made a famous speech in Beijing about women's rights. Sadly, many of these things she wanted to change.
The dog. We need to do something about the dog. Please, please. God, the dog. Go on, go on, go.
Excuse me, sir, for a while.
It's all right. It's all right. Doesn't the dog have an online class now? Doesn't the dog have an online class this time?
Oh,
Should, the dog should be enrolled to an online class.
I'll continue, sir.
Go on, go. Start from where you were cut, from where you really stopped.
Okay.
Okay, go.
In 1955, Hillary Clinton made a famous speech in Beijing about women's rights. Sadly, many of these things she wanted to change are still a reality today.
That's a different level, dog. That dog is playing a role today.
Sorry, sir.
It's all right. It's all right. Go, go. Is the dog already fine? Okay.
Someone's outside, sir. That's why they're barking.
Okay, okay. Go, go.
I'll continue, sir.
Please, please, please.
But what stood out for me the most was that only 30% of her audience were male. How can we affect change in the world when only half of it is invited or feel welcome to participate in the conversation? Men, I would like to take this opportunity to extend your formal invitation. Gender equality is your issue too. Because to date, I've seen my father's role as a parent being valued less by society despite my needing his presence as a child as much as my mother's. I've seen young men suffering from mental illness unable to ask for help for fear it would make them look less macho.
Someone's head appeared at the back. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Just go on. Just go on.
Much. In fact, in UK, suicide is the biggest killer of between men 20 to 49 years of age, eclipsing road accidents, cancer, and coronary heart disease. I've seen men made fragile and insecure by a distorted sense of what constitutes male success. Men don't have the benefits of equality either. We don't often talk about men being imprisoned by gender stereotypes, but I can see that they are, and that when they are free, things will change for women as a usual consequence. If men don't have to be aggressive in order to be accepted, women won't feel compelled to be submissive. If men don't have control, women won't have to be controlled. Both men and women should feel free to be sensitive. Both men and women should feel strong. It is time that we all perceive gender in a spectrum, not as two opposing sets of ideals. If we stop defining each other by what we are not and start defining ourselves by what we are, we can all be freer, and this is what he for she is about. It's about freedom. I want men to take up this mantle so their daughters, sisters, and mothers can be free from prejudice, but also so that their sons have permissions to be vulnerable and human too. Reclaim those parts of themselves they abandoned, and in doing so be more true and complete version of themselves. You might be thinking, who is this Harry Potter girl? And what is she doing up on the stage at the UN? It's a good question, and trust me, I have been asking myself the same thing. I don't know if I am qualified to be here. All I know is that I care about this problem and I want to make it better. And, and having seen what I've seen and given the chance, I felt it is my duty to say something. English statesman Edmund Burke said, all that is needed for forces of evil to triumph is for enough good men and women to do nothing. In my nervousness for the speech and in my moments of doubt, I've told myself firmly, it's not me. Who? If not now, when? If you have similar doubts when opportunities are presented to you, I hope those words might be helpful. Because the reality is that we do nothing. It will take 75 years. Or for me to be nearly 100 before women can expect to be paid the same as men from the same work. 15.5 million girls will be married in the next 16 years as children. At the current rates, it won't be until 2086 before all rural African girls will be able to receive a secondary education.
Excuse me, Queenie. Is it still long?
Last one, this one and this one too. From here.
Okay. Because if you don't mind, I think it's enough already. I mean, the speech is also quite long, man. I noticed. I've tried to search for it, and it really was a bit longer.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Winia. Thank you so much for your time. Thank
Thank
you.
you also, sir.
The next one is Lucia. For a while, because I'll still put you in spotlight, Lucia. I can just recall last year for this, Mae would come in to console Lucia, while Lucia will also come in to console Mae. Sure will also do it. The three of you would console each other.
Don't forget Rika, sir.
Rika, we still have Rika Gulusinda. No, but Rika would not say anymore anything in front. Okay, I'll still put you in spotlight, Chia. Okay. Please start.
Life balance is about priorities. Imagine life as a game in which you are juggling some 5 balls in the air. You name them work, family, health, friends, and spirit, and you're keeping all of this in the air. You will soon understand that work is a rubber ball. If you drop it, it will bounce back. But the other 4 balls, family, health, friends, and spirit, are made of glass. If you drop one of these, they will be irrevocably scuffed, marked, nicked, damaged, or even shattered. They will never be the same. You must understand that and strive for balance in your life. How? Don't undermine your worth by comparing yourself with others. It is because we are different that each of us is special. Don't set your goals by what other people deem important. Only you know what is best for you. Don't take for granted the things closest to your heart. Cling to them as you would your life, for without them, life is meaningless. Don't let your life slip through your fingers by living in the past or for the future. By living your life one day at a time, you live all the days of your life. Don't give up when you still have something to give. Nothing is really over until the moment you stop trying. Don't be afraid to admit that you are less than perfect. It is this fragile thread that binds us to each together. Don't be afraid to encounter risks. It is by taking chances that we learn how to be brave. Don't shut love out of your life by saying it's impossible to find time. The quickest way to receive love is to give. The fastest way to lose love is to hold it too tightly. And the best way to keep love is to give it wings. Don't run through life so fast that you forget not only where you've been, but also where you are going. Don't forget, a person's greatest emotional need is to feel appreciated. Don't be afraid to learn. Knowledge is weightless, a treasure you can always carry easily. Don't use time or words carelessly. Neither can be retrieved. Life is not a race, but a journey to be savored each step of the way.
Lucia
Thank
did
you. Thank
well.
you so much,
Proud of
Lucia.
you.
Thank you. May I know the author of that one?
Brian Dyson.
Dyson. Brian as Brian or Bry?
Bry.
Yan. Dyson is Di or Dai? Dy.
Dy.
Son. The name of the speech is
Life balance is about priorities.
Priorities. I don't know with the others, but I found it's my first to listen to that material. But I found the lines there very, very appealing to the ears. It has very nice lines, very appealing lines. But listening to those words, we can really sound inviting. The next one will be Alona. For a while, Alona, I'll put you in spotlight. Alona or is this Alona or Tandang Sora? Ah, okay. It's Melchora Aquino. It's really Melchora Aquino in front of us, everyone.
Women's Right to Vote
Wait,
by
I have to see the
Crystal.
copy first. Wait. Excited? Dakilang you really are a katipunera, no? Gabriela Silang? Excited, aggressive. Where's the copy first? Where's the copy? Basically the copy first. Ah, okay. Okay, that's the length is fine. The length is fine. So Alona, please start.
Women's Right to Vote by Christabel Pankhurst. The militant suffragettes who form the Women's Social and Political Union are engaged in the attempts to win the parliamentary vote for women of this country. Their claim is that those women who pay rates and taxes and fulfill the same qualifications as men voters shall be placed upon the parliamentary register. The reasons why women should have the vote are obvious to every fair-minded person. British Constitution provides that the taxation and presentation shall go together. Therefore, women taxpayers are entitled to vote. Parliament deals with questions of vital interest to women, such as the education, housing, and employment questions, and upon such matters, women wish to express their opinions at the ballot box. The honor, safety of the country are in the hands of Parliament. Therefore, every patriotic and public-spirited woman wishes to take part in controlling the actions of our legislature. For 40 years, this reasonable claim has been laid before Parliament in a quiet and patient manner. Meetings have been held and petitions signed in favor of votes for women, but failure has been the result. The result of this failure is that women have not been able to bring pressure to bear upon the government, and government moves only in response to pressure. Men got the vote not by persuading, but by alarming the legislature. Similar vigorous measures must be adopted by women. The exercises of men must be avoided, yet great determination must be shown. The militant methods of the vigorously pursued, the methods of the women of today are clearly thought and vigorously pursued. They consist in protesting at public meetings and in marching to the House of Commons in procession. Repressive legislation makes protests and public meetings an offense, but imprisonment will not deter women from asking to vote. Deputations to parliament involve arrest and imprisonment, yet more deputations will go to the House of the Commons. The present Liberal government profess to believe in democratic government, yet they refuse to carry out their principles. In the case of women, they must be compelled by a united and determined women's movement to do justice in this matter. Next season, we demand the enactment of a women's enfranchisement measure. We have waited too long for political justice. We refuse to wait any longer. The present government is approaching the end of its career. Therefore, time presses if women are to vote before the next general election. We are resolved that 1909 must and shall see the political enfranchisement of the British women.
Thank you so much, Alona. Thank you. We now give the floor to Christopher for a while. Christopher's camera is still turned off though.
I'm boosting my confidence.
Wow. He's still boosting his confidence. That's why he's channeling all necessary chakras that he can. Ready to turn the camera on?
Wait, sir, wait, sir.
What is happening?
Okay, sir.
Ready? Ready? Ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. Christopher, please start.
So, good morning, everyone. I am here to deliver a speech about what is life. Inspirational speech by Fearless Soul. What is life about? Is it simply about obtaining success? What is success? Really, it is only a matter of opinion. To some, success means money. To some, success simply means doing what they love or being with those they love. Either way, success can only be defined in one word, and that one word is happiness. Happiness is the reason we stress over money, why we chase the perfect partner, or try to live up to the world's image of what we should be. Because we believe in getting those things, we will one day be happy. Life is not about proving anyone wrong. Life is about proving yourself right. Life is not about competing against yourself, but it is about competing against yourself. To make sure you are better than your previous self, better than you were yesterday. To make sure you are growing every day, developing, learning, and experiencing. Life is not about being perfect. It is about being happy. Not all the time, but every time you can. Life isn't about being right. It is about being kind. When you have a choice to be right or to be kind, choose kindness. Choose love. Life is not about noticing the negatives. It is about creating such huge positives, the negatives pale in comparison. Life is not about you. It is about everyone and everything. We are all connected and all sharing challenges and struggles. Be kind. Lift others up. Give freely without expecting anything in return, and the world will return happiness and abundance beyond your wildest dreams. Life isn't all about money. You cannot take it with you, so don't stress about it. This doesn't mean that you don't deserve it or shouldn't have it. You can create unlimited abundance and use that to do good for others and yourself, and do deserve it. Just don't stress about it. Money is great, but only when used in positive intentions. Life isn't about comparing yourself to others. Let everyone else be exactly as they are while you focus on being the best you. Your life is not defined by circumstances. Your life is not defined by what does or does not happen to you. It is defined by how you react what happens to you. How you choose to react to the circumstances and events that arrive in your life. It is helpful to remember that challenges are just tests. Hard times are tests and challenge and character builders. Never lose spirit because it is in our greatest challenges that our greatest strength is formed. That is when our character shines right after the storm. What really important is who you become through all of the life's challenges. What you make and accumulate will never be a match for who you are and how much happiness you bring to this world. Don't ever forget that. You are a miracle. This world is a blessing. Life is a miracle, and life is really what you make it. Live every day like you are blessed. Live every day as you are grateful to simply be alive. Be happy no matter what happens, and life will be the amazing adventure it was meant to be. Your purpose and my wish for you is simple: to be happy, to find happiness no matter what life throws at you. That's all, sir. Good morning once again.
Thank you so much, Christopher. Thank you. Next will be Josh. I'll put you on spotlight for a while, Josh.
Is my audio fine, sir?
Yes, your audio is fine. There. Please start.
Suppose that you were sitting down at this table. The napkins are right in front of you. Which napkin would you take? The one in your left or the one in your right? The one in your left side or the one in your right side? Usually you would take the one in your left side. That is correct. But in a larger sense on society, that is wrong. Perhaps I can even substitute society with the universe. The correct answer is that it is determined by the one who takes his or her own napkin first, yes? If the first one takes the napkin to the right, then there's no choice but for others to also take the right napkin. The same goes for the left. Everyone else will take the napkin to the left. Why? Because they have no other option. This is society. Who are the ones that determine the price of land first? Surely there must have been someone who determined the value of money first, the magnitude of electricity, the size of the tracks on a railroad, laws and regulations. Did we all do it because this is a republic? Or perhaps was it arbitrary? Yes? I beg to disagree, ladies and gentlemen. The one who took the napkin first determined all of these things. The rules of this world are determined by that same principle of right or left. In a society like this table, a state of equilibrium, once one makes the first move, everyone must follow. In every era of this world, we have been operating by this rude and horrendous napkin principle. It is not that anyone can simply take and fulfill this role. Those who are unworthy and despotic are going to be scorned. In the case of this table, the eldest or the master of the party shall be the one to take the napkin first, for he is the one respected by all. Ladies and gentlemen, let us make this country great once again, for the glory of the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you so much. As of this time, supposedly Jana Kusain will come next, but Jana is not here yet. Jana is not here yet, and Vince is already done with his performance. He already sent me a copy of the video. The video is with me. Technically, everybody has had their turn already. So congratulations, you've had your manuscript deliveries done. The first delivery done. The first delivery done. Because another speech delivery will have to be done. But perhaps with a memorized speech now. Let's not do that this week. We will not do that this week. Your memorized speech delivery will be done on Tuesday after the major exams. After the QE, after the QE, only after the QE, only after the QE. Because you still have the QE to prepare for. I still have the QE. So after the QE on Saturday, oh, don't sleep. Don't sleep on Saturday afternoon. On Sunday, you continue not sleeping. You'll have to memorize pa something. So the manuscript is done. Initially, I wanted you to have another manuscript, just video recorded. But I then told myself, perhaps that the one that you did now is just fine. This is more than enough for it. I look forward to your recorded speeches, no, your memorized speeches, which you'll present on November 24. That's the Tuesday after the major exams. What kind of a memorized speech will you deliver? There are two. The oration, I've grown tired listening to them. I think you know where this is heading. As requested by Allen, here's the message of Allen, people. Here are the messages of Allen, ha. I'm sending it to everybody. Allen sent, I placed it in the chat box. That's the message of Allen. As requested by him. I did not make that up. The time is even there. These messages really came from Allen.
Alan will do it first, no, sir.
So on the 24th, you'll do a declamation piece for us. You are now in your respective homes. So use the space that you have at home to deliver a declamation speech, a declamation piece. I would suggest, we had this done with the grade 10 students for the first quarter in public speaking. So many of them did not use their headphones or their headsets so that they can freely move at whatever space they look at the form of Cher. Sher's physical like her the way she's doing her hair, that's already going to work for a declamation piece. Luisa, remember Luisa? The Luisa girl whose head was who got her head bumped onto a particular edge of a table. I think it's on the edge of a table. Oh, Luisa is there. It's also up to you on the nature of your declamation piece. Is it on a rejoicing type? Is it one on a rejoicing theme? Or you'll probably go with most of the declamation pieces that don't go with a happy theme. Most of the declamation pieces have a depressive theme. Yeah.
Richmond and the Foreman.
If you go, your question you cannot answer. My God, you'll go with that again. Perhaps you can look for a better piece. I'm not saying that the rich man and the poor man is a bad piece for a declamation material, but maybe you can look for one that evokes more emotions, ba? If you want to go with the used materials like I am a bad girl for the girls, there's no such thing as I am a good girl as well, no? Basta, whatever your choice of a material is, November 24. The order will not be, what was our agreement on this one, Vince? Vince will do a video recording as well of himself. But with just one take.
Yes,
Vince, no?
yes,
With
sir.
just, okay, with just one take.
Yeah.
to be done and submitted at the same time scheduled for oral com. Right?
Sir,
Is that the agreement?
the same
The same as how it's done for the manuscript.
duration. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess you're all excited now. Uy, Josh, here's a question from Josh. I'd like others to see this because you might find a material that has this same concern. Josh, the session is video recorded, and I'm not sure if that's going to be. I don't want to lose a subscriber, Josh. Char. I am now at the road of 100 subscribers, Josh. I now have 99 subscribers. And I have a video that has more than 1,100 views. I'm now on that road. Perhaps, Josh, if the language is there, maybe you can modify it by a bit. I think that can be done. Josh, by the way, you mentioned yes twice in your manuscript speech. Is the word yes found in the there it Josh Rebusura.
It's there, man, sir.
It's there in the copy?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought what that meant is I subbed right now, sir. I thought you just added something else. It's there in the copy, huh?
Yes, sir. I'm not lying, sir. It's there, like there's a like ellipsis, 3 dots, then a yes.
I'd like to pose this question of, you might as well just send it to everybody, no? Question of Sean. What if two students end up having the same piece? That's fine. It's all right. But the second person, like for instance, no, Lucia and Rodney end up having the same material to be delivered in declamation. And if Lucia is the first one to do it, the pressure is much on perhaps on Rodney, as her performance will probably be compared to Lucia's. That's the challenge. But I will not stop you from having the same material to be delivered on November 24. So I think that answers your concern, Sean.
Sir, will we do costumes?
I would not demand that you do costumes. If you decide to put in some costumes, I will not include that in the way you're being scored. Because our amount of resources, the resources that we have at home, at our respective homes, vary. Some of you might have a wardrobe at home filled with costumes, while one might not have this storage of items. So it's not a demand that you should have costumes. At least be in the right attire, which is like the PE uniform as the required, or the PE shirt as the required attire for your declamation pieces. The grade 10 students had their share of declamation pieces in my YouTube channel. I've uploaded them already in my YouTube channel, so you can see them there. I think that will be for November 24. If we cannot finish everyone's performances by then, so we have it until November 26. Here, you might want to add in some extra lines or put in some ad-libs. But hopefully, it will not be in the same number of ad-libs as how Josh Rebusura did it last year. Joshua, remember? I mean, there was so much. There were so many ad-libs already. It came out to be very obvious. You may put in some ad-lib, you may paraphrase, but not to totally destroy the original passage. I would acknowledge that. And another thing, same thing that I've told my students before, if you accidentally make a mistake in your delivery, what did I say about that? Do not make the mistake obvious. Just that request. Technically, in your delivery, you're the only one who knows that an error was made. Of course, you'll send me a copy of the material first. I need to have a copy of your material first. But by the time the video record, the session, the class goes on, I'll be there to watch you perform. In whatever contest there is, the judges are there to watch you perform. They're waiting for you to make a mistake. That you also make that mistake obvious. If you make a mistake, do not make that mistake obvious, and your performance shall proceed smoothly as how you wish it to be. If you stutter on a line, make that stuttering appear as part of your dynamics. But do not make the stuttering appear all the time. Unless the persona you're personifying is really a stuttering person. But if the persona is not supposed to stutter, yet you made one mistake about it, and so you're not making it obvious, the stuttering should not expectedly happen again. Take note, when we do declamations, we are trying to bring out someone's character in our delivery. Sir, should we cry in our performance? I would not demand that you should cry. But if you want to see one possible performance of this, look at my YouTube channel. Visit my YouTube channel. Look at the performance of Thea Abergas. Thea Abergas cried. It's about her. I forget the name of the declamation piece, but it's about that girl, a doctor who injected the mother just with water, and the mother died. I killed her. Is that I killed her? I think that's the declamation piece entitled I killed her.
Yeah, that was the one that they said in the beginning, ladies of the jury.
Asking the jury to judge her. I think that's entitled I killed her. She even knelt down to the ground that abruptly. She was standing up, and then she dropped herself to the floor, kneeling. And then she ended up crying in her delivery. At home. She was doing it at home, of course. So I don't know how the other members of the family felt about it while she was crying and banging on the floor while they're doing her declamation piece. So hopefully you can now imagine yourselves. If you are in your own bedroom, that's probably fine. But if you are in the living room, then automatically you will have an audience. Tell your audience members not to react, huh?
Cover your faces.
Tell them not to clap while you are delivering and while you are speaking in front of Zoom, please. Fiona Joaquin also had her share of the performance. She asked someone in the family to hold the camera for her because part of her movement is that she was using a phone. Part of her declamation was that she would transfer from one place to though in the same area of the living room, but she would really kind of jump from one place to another. So the camera moves. So someone was holding it for her. And according to Fiona, her grandparents were also there in that same room, in the living room at the time. So if you do it in that area of the house, then you just might end up having a live audience. And let that be. For as long as the live audience will not create any particular distracting noise as you are delivering your declamation piece.
What if it's a dog, sir?
You know what to do with a dog. Put that dog in a neighbor's house. Put the dog in silent mode. It's up to you if you put the dog eternally in silent mode. I'm not asking that you do that. But perhaps, like in the case of Queenie earlier, this is for Queenie and Angel because diba you have a dog at home. Let that dog enter the Zoom class where that dog should be a part of. Maybe you can put the dog somewhere else or maybe Angel or Queenie can look for a different place where they are going to perform their declamation pieces. When you do your declamation pieces, you are not expected to remain seated. Take note. You should stand up. You should angle yourselves at a position where you can really be seen. Like your body angle is really visible and fitting for the presentation, for the performance. Like, I'd like to request Sean. Sean, can I request you to stand up? in this manner, I can clearly see the expressions in Sean's face. So probably Sean has to do something about the angle or look for a better angle to where I could really see the expressions in his face while I can also see the much of his body while doing the declamation piece. Right? Or move a bit closer, Sean, closer to the camera. There. That would probably work. And the same shall be for Awal Shanha. And when that happens, Sean will be placed on a spotlight. The spotlight will be given to the presenter of a declamation piece. Questions regarding the declamation for November 24 and perhaps until November 26. Yes, Sean?
Okay, sir, if only half of the body is seen, sir.
Half of the body, the upper half, ideally. Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
If you end up shouting at home, screaming at home, that's your call. Then perhaps that's because the material demands that you do that. If you end up screaming or hitting the wall, but not with your head, then maybe because that's the demand of the material. Then you probably will end up inviting an audience at home. And then your parents will end up being worried about you. Hey, what's wrong naman with my daughter? What's wrong with my son? Son, are you all right? When someone rushes to the door of your room and someone you will have already placed, if you are in your respective rooms, try to also inform the people outside that you are doing a performance task. Familiar, son? Someone from you placed something like that in the door of his room. Ayaw sa muka kay nag-performance task. You can do that so that you will not be disturbed. Proxemics, gestures, do them. Use the space that you have. Use your body, use yourself, use your hands to exhibit gestures. Give justice to the declamation piece. There's a reason why it's called a declamation piece. There's a very good reason why it's a declamation piece and not just any speech material. Study your material very well. Understand the persona that's there. Understand the character that's there that you are trying to represent and personify in your delivery. Not that we would really demand that you should cry. I'm not demanding that you should cry. But I'm really looking forward to crying. I'm really looking forward to crying. Or you ending up sounding as though you are really depressed or suffering from something. Yeah, that's kind of being looked forward to in declamation piece. But if your material is not in that nature, then you don't have to force yourself. If your material does, the rich man and the poor man, that does not demand a cry, right? Remember, the rich man and the poor man would not demand that you cry. However, if you find a material that would invite tears to roll down your cheeks, why not? Questions regarding the declamation material to be delivered, declamation performance to be delivered a week after your major exams?
None,
None? Josh, do you have a question?
None, sir.
There's none.